Good morning. Come on in. There are seats right here in the very front row. And there's some scattered throughout. There's some seating up in the balcony. So I'm happy to have a full house here. Thanks for coming. Welcome to the 2023 Bernard Christensen Symposium. My name is Jeremy Myers. I serve on the religion faculty here at Augsburg, where I am the Christensen Professor of Religion and Vocation. I'm also the Executive Director of the Christensen Center for Vocation on campus, and I'll say a little bit more about that in a moment. It's our practice at Augsburg to begin events such as this with acknowledging the land that we stand on and its first people, as humble as this might be. Augsburg's spirit is propelled by a heartbeat that started long before us. It was present when the land where Augsburg stands today was stewarded by the Anishinaabe and the Dakota people. We honor their wisdom about this place, their recognition that we are all part of the same creation, and share their sense of obligation to the larger community, including future generations. In recognition of that past and of all the indigenous peoples across North America, we share together in this acknowledgement of the land. Welcome to the Christensen Symposium. We do this every year for those of you who are new to Augsburg. Every year in September we have a public lecture in order to honor the memory of Dr. Christensen. The Christensen Symposium and the Christensen Center for Vocation were both established to honor him and his legacy. Dr. Christensen was the 8th president at Augsburg University and served from 1938 to 1962. And for those of you who can do math, that's a long time. His legacy was one of critical inquiry and genuine hospitality. We've drawn on these lessons from Dr. Christensen and the legacy, and his legacy, and these lessons still shape our work. And the lessons are on the screen in front of you. The Christian faith liberates minds and lives. Diversity strengthens vital communities. Interfaith friendships enrich learning. The love of Christ draws us to God, and we are called to service in the world. It's my hope that today you'll hear echoes of these lessons in today's presentation. Which brings me to the main event. I'm honored to introduce Dr. Patrick Reyes, who currently serves as a dean of Auburn Seminary in New York City. He describes himself as a Chicano writer, theologian, and executive leader, and award-winning author of The Purpose Gap, which is sitting on my chair right there, which he'll be speaking on today, and another book called Nobody Cries When We Die. Prior to his current position, he was the senior direction for their diverse programs, grants, and teams supporting the next generation of leaders. In addition, he led the historic fellowship supporting scholars of color, the institutional doctoral network, and partnerships in theological and higher education. Patrick is a peer among public theologians and deeply respected among faith and justice leaders and funders. He's the current board president of the Religious Education Association and serves as the co-dean of the Freedom Seminary for the Children's Defense Fund, offering an immersive experience for diverse seminary students from across the country to engage and cultivate prophetic voices within communities on the margins. Patrick provides leadership on several boards in theological and higher education, publications, and the nonprofit sector, supporting the next generation of Black, Indigenous, and Chicano spiritual and cultural leaders. In the last decade, he's been recognized for his service and scholarship by the Austin Presbyterian Theological Seminary, Boston University, Claremont School of Theology, Drew University, Children's Defense Fund, Hispanic Theological Initiative, the Hispanic Youth Leadership Academy, and many others. Patrick was also recently inducted into the Morehouse College MLK Jr. Colloquium of Scholars. He lives in New Mexico, where he and his family embrace the cultural and religious traditions and communities they have inherited with his partner, who I just am a 6-year-old. So probably I would say Patrick would introduce himself most importantly as a dad. And so let's welcome Patrick today.
What's up? Every good public speaking coach will tell you to start any topic, any conversation you have that way. Let me just say a little bit, I appreciate the introduction, a little bit about who I am. Let me reintroduce myself. I'm Patrick Reyes. I sit between 5 generations of Carmelitas. 5 generations back, we have a Carmelita, my grandmother, who raised me. If you read the book, even if you don't, you'll hear me talk about her. My daughter's name is Carmelita. In 5 generations, I am sure there will be a Carmelita who I'm trying to make space for in this world. We're going to do stuff together for the next hour. I think lecturing is really boring, and I don't want to bore you for a full hour. So the Purpose Gap has 2 main components. Vocation is about what you do in your life, and I think there's 2 ways, or the research that I did shows that there's 2 ways we get there. 1 is through community, and 2 is some inner work. So we're going to do the community work together. Is that cool? That wasn't very convincing. Is that cool? Like, come on, yeah? All right. All right, so we're going to do vocation. We need to understand what we're working with right now. What is the world that we're inhabiting? And I need some help. This world doesn't belong to me. I'm already an elder. This world belongs to you. So what are the things you care about? I need 6 topics, actually. 6 topics that this room deeply cares about. Go ahead. Money? Come up here, Money. Can you come up here? Yeah, come on up here, Money. Money, you're going to come, if you could go right here. Who else wants to? I need 5 people to volunteer and come up and stand with Money. Who's going to work on money? 5 people. We'll get all the other topics as well. Can I get 5 people? Just stand up, come over here and work with Money. Please, this man needs some help. 5 people. Just get up and walk. So we got family. Family, come up here. Fam, you're going to be up on the stage here. Who wants to work on family? Come on up here. What other topics do we have? Racial justice, right here. Racial justice, right here. Can I get 5 to 6 people? Come on over here. Working on racial justice. What other topics do we got? Healing? Healing, can you go back in the little space right there, the little gap? Right by that pillar. If someone wants to work on healing, stand up and go with them. What else do we have? I need to get into the back. Someone from these who tried to hide, back warriors back here. What's a topic you all care about? Is no one going to say the planet? Y'all know it's dying, right? So someone did say environment? Who? Where? Environment, can I get 5 to 6 people working on the environment right here? Let's get one more topic. You gotta shout loud, I don't have great hearing. One more? Can I get one more? Una más, please. How about education? Can I get a group working on education back here? Y'all are in school. I feel like that's an easy one. Education? Okay, stand right there. So we got education, environment, healing, racial justice. Every group needs to have 5 or 6 people. So if you can volunteer, stand up. Racial justice, family, money. I'm going to move money a little bit further over to the corner. So here's what I'm going to do, or what this group is going to do. If you're working on this, if you're doing environment, healing, we need a couple more people for healing. The invitation is going to be for you to make, this is to the group that volunteered to work on these things, a human statue that doesn't move, that doesn't speak, that depicts money, family, racial justice, healing, environment, and education, okay? You have 10 minutes to make a statue that depicts your topic. Money, good luck. All right, 10 minutes. Okay, while they do that, I'm going to talk to this group. One of the things that in my work around vocation, doing surveys and asking people how they're finding their meaning and purpose in their lives, is what do? When the world is burning, when we know racial justice is something we need to tend to, how do we engage? How do we engage these topics? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite us in about 5 minutes, once these statues get their stuff together, for you to get up and cruise around the room and see how they're depicting it. Don't spend too much time with money. I feel like it's a little distracting. All right? So have about, 5-minute conversation with your neighbors about what vocation, how you're finding meaning and purpose, and I'll give you the invitation while I work with these statues. Cool? 5 minutes, conversations amongst yourself. I'll come right back. Here's our inspiration.
Good. We figured it out. Can we use a prop?
All right, folks, take another 2 minutes. Our statues are almost ready. Wrap up your conversations. Okay, folks, we're going to do this communal process. It's going to happen in 2 phases. Right now, we are going to ask our pieces, our statues, to freeze. They're going to get into their pose, and remember what their topics were. We got money, family, racial justice, healing, environment, and education. And we're just going to take a moment to see what your peers think about in this moment now. These are the conditions in which we are finding ourselves. So go ahead and freeze in your pose. So statues freeze. If you can't see a statue, you can stand up or move around the room if you want in your chair. Don't feel like you're locked in the space you want. But take a look. We got racial justice. We got healing over here in the corner. Take just 2 minutes to take in these statues. Maybe talk to your neighbors. What do you notice? What do you see? Tell your neighbor what you see. What's missing? What's impactful? All right, friends. Ready for us to get into phase 2, statues? Take a little bit of a breather real quick. Our statues are going to unfreeze. Just kidding, y'all need to freeze again, just real quick. Can you freeze one more time? In your discussion, we want families to get frozen. I need 3 to 4 volunteers to join these statues and add something to it. Can't change the statue, you can't change the environment all by yourself, but what would you add to it? So just stand up and engage. Live action theater, stand up, someone. Money needs more investment, they always need more. Does this room want to work on racial justice? I'm just curious. Can we get some volunteers up here? Here's the challenge. Let's just pause for a moment and think about the moment that we're in. No one's getting up and moving. This is status quo. This is what happens generation after generation. We can diagnose, we can comment to our peers what's happening in the world. But when I ask a simple thing, with 0 stakes, engage these statues, no one moves. This should be the easiest thing. So think we can try again? Let's get a couple volunteers who want to engage and change the world that we are inhabiting. Can we get some folks over in education? It only takes the first couple steps. Racial justice needs a few more. I heard this campus cares about that, and I don't see anyone moving for it. All right, statues, I'm going to ask you to, with your new members, freeze again. And new members, get engaged. All right, statues freeze. We got one more invitation, I think, happening. All right, check out what happened with just this movement. Education shifted. A couple more bodies were added. We have someone facing the environment here. I still don't understand money, but that's okay. That's a personal problem. The family. Take 2 minutes to talk to your neighbor about what shifted in the room. What do you see? What is different? What's missing? What's impactful? What's meaningful? Balcony folks, can you see down? Do you want them to come up front? Would that be helpful? Education and healing. Can you come up to the stage and do your thing up here so that way the folks in the balcony can see? Come on up. Sorry, balcony, I didn't. Healing, can you come up here to the stage and do your piece up here? Thank you. Yeah, just find an empty space. All right, the pieces that this institution or this body cares about, our vocations, are on display. From the audience, if y'all can raise your hand, let's get a few comments about what we see. I'll run the mic to you. What do we see? Raise your hand, I'll just run the mic to you. What are you noticing? Got one over here.
No one really did anything different. They all just kind of latched on to what the existing group was doing and just kind of continued the existing paradigm that was presented.
So we see more added to the same. What else? What else do we see? See a hand over here. I'm getting my 10,000 steps in.
Kind of related to that, I'm wondering what would happen if money dispersed and went to each of the other groups.
What if money did something useful, is what I heard, but yes. What else? Let's get two more. Two more comments. What do you see? What are you experiencing? Money changed. Money keeps changing, literally changing hands. What else? Yeah.
I like that the healing circle just keeps getting bigger.
Oh, he said the healing circle keeps getting bigger. What about racial justice? I haven't heard anything about what's going on over there. Theirs has the what? Theirs has the president. Where? Who's in? I thought we got our selfie in. I'm glad you stayed.
I didn't just leave. Well, a bunch of more people came up and joined them. That's about it. Nothing really changed too much, but with unity.
All right, so vocation here. This is what the literature says. Thank you, statue. Stay right there for just a little bit longer. What the literature says is it takes a first step. There's usually a status quo element to all of this. So y'all are trying to change the world. I'm hoping you are. Trying to solve the environment, trying to make a better world for future generations. That first step is the first most important thing, and it's a little bit awkward. But that generation that fills the gap typically doesn't know what to do. There is a status quo moment where the world tries to reset itself. Then there's a push, and you see things start to shift a little bit. If you look in, this is all in the book, but if you get in some research on this, these are the kind of stages of communal vocational discernment. And so what you saw was just in this little experiment that we had in this space, how this might play out. So my encouragement to you, for those who like staying where they are, who don't want to get engaged, is be the first. Go get engaged. All right? So this is a communal part of this. Give the statues a round of applause. Statues, you can go down. Money. Statues are going down. So we have about 20 minutes to take on one of these. Just one of these. And I love money, but I'm gonna exclude money. Which one does this room want to see transformed in 20 minutes? Of course. Do y'all want to see money transformed? Okay, money, come on back up. We heard some feedback, at least communally here, that all of these issues that we talked about could have used a significant investment. Healing kept getting bigger and widening the circle. That's a lot of our thing. I can give my time, I can give my hands. Money was over there doing its own thing. So let's see if we can't transform money. So money, if you can get set in what you had, your statue. This is the money system. Stay frozen. Now, we can't change it overnight. I wish we could. We can pass all laws we want, but money still, this is how it looks. It looks like we got people going for $1 here, holding on to it, withholding. Can I get folks who volunteered in those first couple of statues, the issues, racial justice, education, to come up and insert yourself, not to change the positions that they have, but how you think you might solve for the money problem. So come on up and put your body in here. You're now part of the statue. Can I get, there we go. We already got one. A direct exchange. We have environment, no healing. Can I get a couple more volunteers? We're trying to transform money. Be brave. I've given 2 pep talks already about being brave, so let's get some more folks up there. Come on, 2 more volunteers. Help me out. This is a room full of very, very brilliant people. All right, I'm going to ask the statue to freeze. So we have a couple interventions on money. Go ahead and turn to your neighbor and say what it is that you think is working or not working, what you might add, what you might take away. 2 minutes. Is money helpful? Is money healing? Are you holding up for more money? All right, we're going to do 2 very simple questions. Did we fix the money situation? I see no, a lot of no's. We didn't fix it. Did we help it? So we need a radical reimagining of our money system, right? So here's the last invitation to the statue. Money, thank you so much for being our first volunteers. No, stay in the statue, stay in the statue. For all those who are a part of the original money group, if you could shift how you would be to make this healing a better world, fix the money problem, go ahead and shift yourself. I agree. The one on the right is not just not equitable, that's, ableistic at its best. So yeah, if you could bring that down. But I love the depiction, the reimagining and circular economy. Let's give them a round of applause. Money, go ahead and take a seat. So a couple lessons from this, and then we'll move to the final stage, which is kind of like, how do we do this internally, this internal work? One of the things that I found in the Purpose Gap as we think about communal vocation, how do we do this together as a community, was exactly where money ended up in reimagining these things. I actually borrowed from feminist economists, Kate Rodworth's work on donut economics. How do we build circular economies that are actually working within their means? And I think vocationally, individually, and as communally, we need to be thinking about how do these different issues relate to each other? How do we manage our lives and our times within those boundary lines? And again, going back to it, how do we get engaged? Not just passively moving through this moment in time. Does that make sense? Y'all cool? Y'all sure? All right, last piece. Vocation is about that inner turn. How do we think about ourselves? And so one of the things that I do a lot of research on is from my own lineage, as a curandero, as someone from a Mexican Catholic household, my grandmother who was a healer in our community. How do we heal ourselves so that way we can get up next time we got an invitation to impact the system? So we're going to do a little visualization practice as a group. Is that cool? Yeah? I'm looking for nods, yeah? Yeah? All right, cool. All right, go ahead and in your seat, get comfortable. And as you are comfortable or able, go ahead and close those eyes. I'll be serious. This is a practice from my grandma. I do it with my daughter, Carmelita. Close those eyes and remember to breathe. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. As you're sitting there, remember to relax your head, relax those cheekbones, your jaw, relax those shoulders, release any tension in your arms. All the way down through your lower back. And feel your feet on the floor. Now, in your imagination, I want you to call to mind someone who you know loves you. They love you more than anything. Bring this person in your imagination into full view. See this person who loves you. Notice their hair. Notice the color of their skin. Notice the shape of their eyebrows, their nose, the color of their eyes. See this person who you know loves you smiling at you. As you sit with this person who you know loves you, notice what is coming up for you. How does sitting with this person make you feel? What sensations? What emotions? But see this person who loves you smiling at you. And just notice. In your imagination, as this person who is smiling at you, who loves you, I want you to imagine them saying the words you need to hear right now that only they could say to you. What words of affirmation, of love, do you need to hear right now at this moment in your life? Let those words wash over you like a gift. As you sit with this person who loves you, who just offered words that only they can say to you, I want you to see in your imagination, express gratitude for them. Express gratitude for this moment. Express gratitude for their presence. Express gratitude for the fact that someone loves you in this world. And in your imagination, know that your time is coming to an end and see yourself saying goodbye to this person. Express love, express gratitude. Could be with a hug, could be with a wave. But see yourself saying goodbye to this person. Take one more deep breath in. Deep breath out. Come back to the room as you are able. So this inner work is really central to what we mean by vocation, how we find meaning and purpose. We started with that communal, how do we do this work together? We moved to this internal space. And I hope you found someone that loves you, that could touch you, could talk to you, and think with you about your life. These are the decisions, the way you find meaning and purpose is through those relationships. Everyone saw someone? If you didn't, find someone or come talk to me. We can find another person. And I got one last practice for you so we can wrap up our time. I think this is a really interesting space to be in at a college. One of my favorite things I hear in vocational spaces in this moment in your life is that famous question, what are you going to do next? What job are you going to work? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You know what the research says about those questions? Stupid. Your brain literally cannot go there. So if you're feeling that when that question is asked, oh, just see yourself. Where do you see yourself in the future? And you go, that is because neuroscience has told us your brain is treating your future self as a stranger. It can't make the connection to the future self. But there's a brain hack that we can get around that by imagining our future selves. In a similar way, we just went and did an exercise to kind of do that. Y'all want to do one more exercise? See that future self? It's not your fault. You don't know where you're going to be in 5 years, I promise you. I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 more years. You're comfortable already. Ready? Close your eyes. One last time. This one's quicker. It's faster. I want you to see yourself in a room. And in this room, there is a mirror. And I want you to go up to that mirror in your mind. Head to this mirror, and I want you to see in that mirror yourself 10 years from now. Now, as you look at yourself in the mirror 10 years from now, notice what's changed. Notice the way your hair has changed, if you have any. Notice what clothes you might be wearing. But let me tell you about that person in the mirror. They're getting ready for the day they have been preparing for. You're being celebrated. This is what you have been working towards for the last 10 years. Look into that mirror and see this person who's a little bit older, maybe a little bit of gray, but they're getting ready for something. What is this future self getting ready for? So as you look in this mirror, you're seeing the clothes change, you're seeing the hair, maybe the makeup, you're seeing a different person in the mirror 10 years from now. But I want you to see this person 10 years in the future smiling at you. They're smiling at you because you did it. This is your work. They are proud of you. This future self is saying thank you to the now self for the hard work you put in, for the ways that you got engaged in whatever you were passionate about. This person's living the life that you set out 10 years in 2023. Once more, just notice how this feels. What do you see in that mirror? Are you proud right now in 2023 of that person 10 years from now? Are you happy with the way that they're living their lives? Take just another moment in the mirror with this future self. As you're ready, come on back to the room. So I'm going to leave you with 3 lessons that hopefully we manage to get through in our hour or so time here on vocation. One is that vocation is only discerned in community, that we have big things facing us and we need all the hands in this room to be able to do that. 2, you have all the gifts inside you. Hopefully you found someone that loved you, that can speak into your life, that can totally change your world, and that you can actually go back and meet that person whenever you want. And the 3rd thing is that future self is waiting for you to show up. That future self 10 years from now wants to be proud of the 2023 self that's going to engage in all these statues, all these problems we said we want to solve collectively in this room. So all the research says, these 3 things put together is what's going to move the needle for the world and for your own lives as we find meaning and purpose. If you're a geek and you want to look at like data sets and all that kind of stuff and the surveys, you can read the book, but I doubt anyone wants any more reading. But these are the 3 things: community, doing that deep inner work with yourself, with your ancestors, and finally, really thinking critically about who that future self is and how we're going to get there. Cool? Did we do the thing? Is that good? We good? I keep asking y'all. Yeah? Awesome. Thank you for the yes. All right, thank you all so much.
We have about 10 minutes left for questions. If anyone has questions or comments that they want to ask Dr. Reyes, we'll take those now. If you have to leave, just leave as quietly as you can, please. Thank you.
The name of the book?
You want me to just ask it? The question is, what's the name of the book? And the name of the book is The Purpose Gap.